In the first 2 weeks of June, we've got 3 Sony cameras in the top 10, 3 Canon cameras in the top 10, and 3 Nikon cameras in the top 10. Is there a chance that Nikon has finally dominated the top 3? Stick around after this short break for all the details. But first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, but most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, it really helps this channel grow, and it keeps you up to date on the latest camera news and rumors. Yodobashi Camera is the 4th largest camera retailer in Japan. While the data is limited to the Japanese market, Yodobashi is the only retailer that I'm aware of that releases their sales data on a regular basis. And it's a great conversation to have on a Sunday. I hope you're having a great Sunday. Maybe it's early morning for you, maybe it's late in the day, maybe you're getting ready for your work week. But wherever you are, I hope you're having a great Sunday, and I hope you're having a great summer, unless of course you're in Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere else in the Southern Hemisphere. Then we're heading into fall. It's a problem when you got a round planet. It's not consistent. Not everybody's having morning, afternoon, or day, or not everybody's having summer or winter. Anyhow, since I'm sure you've got very busy lives and that watching videos on this channel isn't your sole purpose in life, let's get right to the top 10. Now this is going to be a little bit surprising, so I'm just going to get right into it. In first place, we have the Sony a7 IV. Now, it's not really surprising that the Sony a7 IV is in first place. I mean, this camera's been in first place, second place, or third place for basically ever since it came out, started shipping late in 2021, and it's dominating. This is the body alone. And in second place, it's not the Nikon Z8, it's another Sony, the Sony a7 R5, a camera that was released last year, late last year. I believe it was October, and it's been doing quite well, the Sony a7 R5. It's a very, very good camera. It's got some great technology in it, such as pixel shift, that it's able to deal with moving subjects. It's a really solid camera. And in third place, you might expect to see the Nikon Z8. No, surprisingly, we have another Sony, and this time it's the kit version of the Sony a7 IV. So first, second, and third, Canon's been shut out, Panasonic, Fujifilm, and Nikon have been shut out. Sony's absolutely dominating the top 3 positions, but that's it for Sony. We don't see Sony in positions 4th through 10th. They dominate the first 3, and then, well, they've given somebody else a chance. So let's go ahead and see who's in 4th place. And yes, this is where we finally see the Nikon Z8, a camera that's been in the top position at all camera retailers for, well, pretty much since it started shipping in late May. It's an amazing camera. It does a very good job. It surpasses the Canon EOS R5 in many capabilities. Some would say it's better, some would say no, the R5 is still better 3 years after it came out. I'm not here to stoke those flames. I think the Nikon Z8 is a terrific camera. It's got some really great capabilities, and I am curious to see how that's going to help shape what Canon does with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, which is supposed to be announced later this year in Q4. Nikon Z8 doing really well. Now, the one thing I think could have an impact on sales, I've noticed that, and I saw a ton of pre-orders on this camera. What I noticed is I've still got one camera in the pre-orders at B&H that has been there for some time. So I'm wondering if Nikon is finally having trouble keeping up with the demand of this camera. So the demand might still be very high, but they might be having trouble meeting that demand. So I'm wondering if that's the case. And in 5th place, we have another Nikon, and you might be guessing it might be the Nikon Z9, and that's absolutely wrong. It's actually the Nikon ZFC with the kit package, the 18, is it the 18 or 16 to 50mm VR SL lens or kit lens. So that's in the 5th place. And so we got 2 Nikons back to back. We do have another Nikon on the list. It's a little bit further down, which we'll get to shortly. We also have a Panasonic in the top 10. But the next 3 positions are all Canon. We have the Canon EOS R50, and that's with the kit package. That's 2 kit lenses. Then we have the Canon EOS R10 with a kit lens itself, the 18 to 150mm. And then in, well, what place is it now? It's in 8th place. We have the Canon EOS R6 Mark II, a camera that was announced right on the heels of the Sony a7 R5. I think it was November the 1st or the 2nd. And it's been selling quite well. It hasn't been dominating the top 10 since it's come out. It's performed well, but not like the Sony a7 IV, a camera that it directly competes against. The Canon EOS R6 Mark II, in my view, well, it fixes a lot of the video capabilities that were in the Mark I. I don't think that the Mark I was truly finished when you look at the video capabilities. The overheating modes, there were too many. They didn't have enough capabilities. And the Canon EOS R6 Mark II, for the large part, fixes the inadequacies of the Mark I when it comes to video. Now, when it comes to stills capabilities, the R6 Mark I still is a terrific camera. As a photographer's camera, it's an amazing camera. But if you're looking at video, then you definitely want to steer clear of the Mark I and go directly to the Mark II. So that rounds it out for Canon. Now we have two more cameras. We have a Nikon, and that's the Z50 lens kit, or sorry, the Z50 with the kit lenses. And then in 10th place, we have Panasonic, the S5 Mark II X. A nice camera. So that rounds out the top 10 cameras sold between June the 1st and June the 16th. So half of the month's sales at Yodobashi Camera, the 4th largest camera retailer in Japan. I was really surprised by this list. Mostly the top 3 positions. I'm surprised that the Nikon Z8 fell to 4th place. But again, I think this might be to do with the demand finally catching up and exceeding the supply. I was really shocked to see how many of these cameras just flew off the shelves in the first couple of weeks that it started shipping. I mean, there was a huge amount of demand. Nikon had a lot of these cameras, but it appears that demand for this camera is still going high. Now, they do have a bit of a recall problem. Just because on some of the cameras, the lens just won't click into place. So there's a whole bunch of cameras that are being recalled, and that's probably bumping into their efforts a little bit. When I first reported the story, apparently it was only a 1 to 3 days turnaround. Now I'm hearing from some that it's taking several weeks turnaround time. So that's a little bit annoying. If you're not noticing the problem with the camera right now, you might want to wait a few weeks for that time to subside. Talk to your local camera store, talk to Nikon to find out what the how long it's taking to get the camera back, and then maybe use that as a determination as to when you want to send it in. But if you're not experiencing the problem, I would definitely recommend sending it in, whether it's now or in a few weeks, in a few months, because the last thing you want is to be out there in the field and all of a sudden that problem starts happening. A problem where the lens doesn't properly click into place. That's not a problem you want to have, because it's worse than bricking the camera. You can't use it in any way whatsoever. So I would definitely recommend sending it in. But yeah, I'm sure that the Nikon Z8 isn't going to leave the top 5 anytime soon. It's a really solid camera. We just have to look at the Canon EOS R5 and how well that camera is done for Canon. And I'd expect pretty much the same for the Nikon Z8. That's it for now. I told you this was going to be a relatively short video because I want to get out there and enjoy the rest of the day. The humidity's finally left us. We're in the mid-70s or the mid-20s, I guess. And I've also got I was hit like a ton of bricks yesterday. I had a bit of a problem, and in a way, I'm still reeling from it, trying to recover from it. I'm not going to talk about the details now, but you know, it happens sometimes in our lives, in our work. Sometimes we have issues come up, and you just got to deal with them. So I'm going to try and enjoy the rest of today until I get back to the work week next week, and hopefully get some issues resolved. But if you want to stay up to date on all the latest camera news and rumors, not just camera sales data, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter, but also please subscribe and don't forget to choose all notifications. And for all those minor news and rumors, such as, well, or even camera discounts, all those news stories that aren't quite big enough to have their own separate video, well, in that case, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, because I tweet stuff out every day, including camera sales. And I've never seen sales like this persist for so long. They started in Black Friday. We saw the Canon EOS R5 go on sale for like $200 off. You can now get the R5 for $500 off, and B&H and Adorama will actually throw in a $350 battery grip, the BGR1, in that price as well. So if you include that, you're essentially getting about, what, $800 off the camera? That's a big deal. But Panasonic's also dropping $500 off the S1H. I've seen the Z6. I've seen the GH6 on sale as well. The Nikon Z6 Mark II, Z7 Mark II, $300 and $400 off respectively. Tons of lenses on sale. So if I know summer's generally slow for cameras, and I know that a lot of people like myself are seeing a lot of high prices everywhere else. Everything's going up in price. But if you're looking at getting a new camera or adding another camera to your lineup, now's a great time to look, because other than Sony, there's a lot of really big deals on right now. And I don't know how long they're going to continue, but it's been over 6 months so far. So keep an eye out for those. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.